Hello, and welcome back to the Part-Time Otaku Podcast. My name is Grant.
My name is Dave.
Here we are, Match 3, Season 5, Episode 7. This season is just chugging along, Dave.
Yeah, man. This is a good episode, though. This one, I don't know why. I feel like there's a misdirect in this episode, like, in the beginning, and then they, like, really get down to business fast. Mm-hmm. Good episode. I liked it.
It's funny. There's a moment very early on in the episode where it's almost like they're talking to the audience. It's
100%.
Let's take a break. And I was let's. I think it's exactly what we needed.
Change things up for 1 second.
Yeah. Before we get too far into that, we just want to give a shout out to Reddit user No Paper No Problem on Reddit for the Ochako Uraka thumbnail that we're using this week.
Love the art style.
Love it. Yeah, if there's one character that I think we need a little more of this season and in other seasons, it's Uraka. I don't know why. She's the bubbly personality. It's always nice.
She always just kind of lightens up every scene that she's in. She had a couple good moments in this episode. Mm-hmm. Hoping to see, has she competed yet in a match for this season? No, right?
No, I think she's on Midoriya's team.
Oh, okay, excellent.
So she'll probably be right at the end there, which is what we're in for. But
great thumbnail.
So I guess we'll just get right into the synopsis, and then we'll kind of hit up early thoughts.
Bring it.
In the third match of the class battles, Todoroki and Ida lead the charge against a well-balanced Class B team.
Buckets.
Wow, what a powerhouse team.
Yeah, dude, I remember looking at their roster, and I was like, oh shit, like this team's kind of stacked. Like they better not lose.
Even like the weird like flesh tail guy who it just unsettles me every time I see his tail. But
it's 100% unsettling.
But we've seen him in action before, and that dude kicks ass. Like,
yeah, and I feel like he's like one of those characters. He's not quite as audience friendly as Red Riot, but he's just below that. Like he's been on screen and around enough, and for a very since season 1 that you kind of know. Funny enough, I don't remember his name, but you know enough about him. I think. Yeah, Ojiro. Yeah.
But
it's him, Lita, Todoroki, and who's the last guy?
Wow,
I forget. I always mix them up too. We're gonna Shoji. Who's Shoji?
Oh, the other weird looking dude, the scout guy who can like create body parts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
They've both had like a pretty decent amount of screen time. So yeah, kind of a stacked Class A team.
Yeah, and it's so funny too because you get those two characters that we've seen like tons of, and then we get the two that like are not. And even by the end of the episode, it feels like the two characters we've seen so much of, they're the only ones getting like the love in this episode.
Yeah, you can tell like the animator or the director or whoever is responsible for this, like they can't help themselves. Like the eye is kind of drawn to these two characters. Todoroki and Lita are so fun to watch.
Yeah.
Let's start maybe at the beginning of the episode. It opens on the shroom girl, whose name I will never remember, and I will maybe feel bad about that if she's on screen ever again.
Is it? It's Kimura or
yeah, I don't know.
Something. Like I said, this is the absolute problem this season. It's just so not the bad thing. Well, it's just there's so many characters, especially for the class we just met.
Yeah, man. There's even without Class B in the mix. We've talked about this. That there is an unreal amount of characters and quirks and all those things. There's no way you're gonna remember those off the top of your head. But she's comforting Tokiyami.
Do you want a cough drop?
She's like, you okay, you little bitch? You want a cough drop? She was like that. He's like, I don't need your pity.
Yeah.
And that was a good little moment. Did you catch the bit the robot was doing? Like carrying...
I wanted to talk to you about this, because this is not the first time this season they've cut to this joke.
Oh, okay. I must have missed it.
This is probably the second or third time they've done this. At very least, this is the second time. But I feel like there's been... Like, there was one, the first battle... I don't know why. The first thing I thought was like, are they gonna have like a random robot uprising situation at the end of this, AI. Where they like, okay, here we go. Here's like a random what if. What if at the end of the season both classes A and B need to work together, like they do back to when they like the very beginning where Midoriya had to prove himself against the robot. I guess all the student body had to fight robots, and there's like a point system. I wonder if we're going to get like a round 2 of that after they'd all battled against each other, had learned teamwork, fun. You know, and then kind of like as like a, remember at the end of Phys Ed, you'd be like working, and then like you get dodgeball for like the last 15 minutes, and it's just like, let's go, you know, like I wonder if we're gonna get that
a team up exercise to fight all
with everyone. That'd be a
That's
lot
funny. I didn't know they did that bit before, but I was like, that is uncharacteristic. There's a couple things, that being one of them in this episode, where I'm like, I feel like that was really intentional that they included that.
It's exactly this
could just be for the bit, like it could just be a throwaway joke, because they have had returning bits like the the biased commentary thing, and so who knows, but anyway, I thought it was funny, but now that you say that, it makes me wonder if like that's gonna go somewhere. If it doesn't though,
that would be awesome.
Still good.
If they did a robot uprising. It's exactly what this show needs right now. A little bit of
just kind of mess shit up, man. That's gonna end up a funny prediction. Maybe in the middle of a Midoriya and Shinsho's match, there'll be some kind of
Can you
intrusion.
Imagine? They've been setting up for the whole season that the rematch of those two, and they got to pause it for a robot fighting vacuums.
Fight to a draw in the middle of it. Yeah, got to fight back to back. That'd be kind of funny. The teachers, Aizawa and the Class B homeroom guy who gives biased commentary. Vlad, yeah, he's talking about how, we may have gone a little bit too hard. Went to 0 to 100 a little bit just because they did so much damage to their stage. So this is where they kind of throw you the curveball. Well, not really a curveball, but they go, okay, let's take like a 2-hour break or something, or let's take like a break while we switch locations and let the shrooms dissipate. So I thought we were maybe potentially taking an episode off the tournament at this point.
I didn't think of a tournament. I thought they were just going to use this like it was just going to cut to the next scene, and it was like there had been a break. But I was genuinely surprised that they went with it, and we had some time between matches like on screen.
Not a lot happens in that time though. I was almost like, why bother including this? Because I think we get back to the tournament within 3.5 minutes or something. Like there's a couple funny bits like. That one insufferable dude from Class B is like bragging. Yeah. And then the girl with the big hand, just knocks him out like she has previously. I also had high hopes for All Might pulling Midoriya aside. Did you think that was going anywhere?
When it happened, it was because I thought everyone knew that he was there. So it was kind of, I didn't really as it was happening, I was like, well, why is he whispering and like coming over? Like, was he not supposed to be known that he was there or watching kind of thing?
Yeah.
So, but even then, like, this is kind of like to me, I think you think differently, but I think this scene kind of like went nowhere.
It 100% went nowhere. I mean, like, maybe like if we really, want to like split hairs, like, they made a point of the classmates knowing that All Might was pulling Midoriya aside and that they seemed to be spending time together. So, like, I mean, I don't know, maybe that cover gets blown. That doesn't really seem like a huge deal to me, but maybe it could be.
Because that's the thing, too, because they know... Because Midoriya is still a kid, like, if it gets out there. Because that's the thing, they've had problems with leaks in the school before. So there is some truth to that. Some kind of bad on All Might's part. But before we go ahead, there's a moment when All Might pulls Midoriya away, and Pinky's kind of teasing Uraka. And she accidentally uses her quirk, and Pinky's, like, floating into the sky. And, like, instead of, like, them going to the joke of, like... oh, like I'm floating away. She just like the breaking, and she's like breakdancing in the sky.
I know.
I was like, this is the shit. I like this shit. Like
when they lean into just like we've been talking about bits all day, but like when they lean into it and they just like because the show can be so ridiculous, right? So like when you use that to your benefit to just take a good joke a little bit further, I feel like that's exactly what they did here. I laughed out loud when that happened.
Absolutely. Pinky's another one of those characters they're really good to like just throw a joke her way and it usually lands.
Yeah, that's a good point. She has she kind of has that pull. You can there are a couple of characters like that are versatile enough that you can kind of use them for whatever you want. Like Red Riot's a good one, right? Like you can give him a whole character development episode, but he can also just be like the butt of the joke if you want him to be.
Yeah. And seem genuine too. That's
100%.
That's the hard part. And that's again, like we've been singing praises for this show for this kind of thing. they're really good at making those little believable moments, even with characters we don't see all that often. So it's, Pinky for the win there.
Wrapping up that All Might scene, basically how it goes nowhere is like, All Might says, "Hey, any news?" And Midoriya's like, "No, what about you?" And he says, "No, I'm going to talk to Gran Torino about it. My master never mentioned anything like this." So
is the implication that the last time we saw them sitting down was like weeks ago?
I don't know.
It feels like it went from
was like
day
yesterday.
to day.
Yeah. So I don't know, maybe just checking in on him, and keeping him appraised of like his intentions. Like, yo, I'm gonna go talk to Gran Torino about it. Bakugo walks in on him though.
But the thing I don't understand is like if it's for the benefit of for the audience to remember this plot detail, because it's obviously like the Vestiges thing is clearly gonna come up in the Shincho fight, which is like, stop beating me over the fucking head with it. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
Like,
they foreshadow that here again,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, are you trying to tell me the audience of the show is not fully engaged? And like we need the reminder. It's like there's some things it's good. Like if it's been a season or two and it's leading up to it, obviously that's kind of like a tease and it kind of spoils something potentially. But this is all within the same season. Like we're 7 episodes in now. We've seen this Vestiges stuff a few times.
We had a whole conversation about it 3 or 4 episodes ago, which is
you know what I mean? Like it just seems like it's too soon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I don't have a good explanation. But I agree. It feels like a little heavy-handed. I thought there was a good moment of Bakugo walking in on them having this conversation.
Yeah.
I thought it was surprising that Midoriya was honest with him, and because Bakugo asks what's going on, and it seems like he tells him. It was cool to have those 3 in a scene together because it feels like it's been a while. Like I think about some of those scenes with the 3 of them. I think about the drill when Bakugo and Midoriya had to team up to fight All Might.
Oh, yes.
That was a great episode.
Yeah.
And I was like, has it been? Like, when's the last time they were all together? Anyway, I was kind of stoked for that. The last thing I wanted to mention on this, sorry to be hogging this whole scene, but it was just as they exit, All Might says to himself, "Master, what are you and the previous users trying to do?"
That was the biggest thing of substance in this scene.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was for, maybe. Yeah.
I like the idea that they may or may not be conscious in there, like the Vestiges, right? Because the whole Shinsho thing, which we've heard about 100 times now, the fact that they, quote, saved him in his first fight with Shinsho because they woke his ass up, sort of suggests that, like, collectively they might be alive somehow, or somehow aware, right? Which is an interesting thought. Like, are they trying to actually communicate? Do they have a consciousness? If so, can he tap into that? What are they trying to tell him? Like, we've talked about this before. Like, I think that's like where the show's lore is the strongest, right? Is that the lineage of that quirk? How is it going to drive the plot, etc. So, I'd like less foreshadowing about that and more of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, show me when it's ready, like when it's coming out of the kitchen. Like I get it. Like it's cooking right now and it's at this point, like I get, like we smell it, it's the steam's coming from the kitchen. I can hear the fajitas just like when they're ready, they're ready.
God, fajitas, such attention hogs. Oh, look at me and fajitas.
Steaming as they walk by.
Yeah, you couldn't wait 5 minutes to bring those out. That's not my bit. I forget. I think that's I don't know who that is, but I stole that. But then we go to the Class B, Class A fight, and that's where we see like the lineup of Todoroki, Lita, Shoji, and Ojiro.
There's some things in this scene that I find incredibly strange and like very clunky.
Hit me.
Okay, so I'll say this first, and I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, but there's a moment. It's the best instance they've done it this season of believability when it comes to Class B. Because they're kind of at odds a little bit. Like again, this is jumping ahead a little bit, but it's all kind of like the same umbrella here. The 4 of them talking, like it's Tetsu, like he's going off on like he's like pounding his head in there, and he's going in. But the 4 of them, their group dynamic and the way they're communicating with each other is the most believable thing we've seen from that class yet. Like you can tell they're friends. This is some like Class 1A like commentary. It was Probably,
Yeah.
honestly, the best thing of the episode for me. Just seeing
Really?
the gyro. I don't know what it is. Like, it's just, because that's what I want to get to know these characters, and we're only really seeing them as like, I think we talked about this a lot last week. They're just being used as power progression for Class 1A.
Yeah,
like we get that.
springboards.
They're springboards. Like we get it. That's the show.
With
but
names and quirks, but
with
like
names and quirks,
ultimately
yes.
springboards.
Exactly. And just that moment of like them communicating with each other, because the previous two groups was kind of like right into the action. It wasn't, there was some talking. I guess we got a little more talking last episode, just with Kendo kind of communicating with her team of how like we're gonna get over Momo and all that. But like just seeing them talk and communicate and laugh, and just like there's a line like when the Pony girl is talking, and he's like, "Look, Pony is talking English. Like, look how mad she is."
I know.
And like it was funny.
That was a good bit.
And just like the way they were talking and communicating, it's like I believe these kids know each other. And like, and to my point is like this is like going to 1A, so I love that in this episode. I know it's so small, it's so minute, but it was very believable.
You're
like
not
it was,
wrong. I mean, I remember being like, this is kind of funny. Like, I don't know any of these people, but like if they can get a laugh out of you that quick,
yeah,
you know what I mean, without a ton of setup and context, you just sort of walk into the scene and they're already just like arguing and doing their thing. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
So the thing I didn't like is what was with Tokoyami walking up to Todoroki and was like,
that was dumb.
That was so dumb. I was like, I never would have thought of that. Like the fact they were, and it was like it was forced, and it was like you guys are trying to make me think about Heroes 1 and 2, and this is trying to swing back to the Endeavor Hawk stuff.
Yeah, like clearly they're trying to bridge those things, but it's like why? Like
it didn't make sense.
You already hit us over the head. They hit us over the head with the same flashback twice in this episode, and we'll get to that. But like they give Todoroki the flashback of him training with his father and how rough that was. Could have left it there. Lita has a flashback.
And I have a problem with that too. It's like Lita looks back and he's like, "Oh shit, I should be honoring the person that I'm from." And then it cuts to him like, I got to give the utmost, like, I got to show my respect and honor for my older brother. It was just like, what is going on? Like, it almost seemed like if Tokoyami hadn't said anything to Todoroki, Lita wouldn't have fucking had that thought.
Yeah, weird choices, weird decision making, and why we needed to link those things and set them up. Maybe that'll make sense later, but like, it definitely, in the scope of this episode and this moment, it did not pay off. It was weird. It was like an unsettling...
Well, Lita's paid off. Lita's paid off because it led to, like, which we'll get to that. But the Todoroki stuff is them just kind of teeing up some more, like, daddy drama.
Yeah. Fine. Whatever.
Yeah. But it was just in that moment. It was just like Tokoyami coming like, "Hey, like, we were under... We got to honor the 1 and 2. And I was like, what? You're in school, dude. Like it was edgy shit,
because
man.
We both
like,
interned, like, what? He's like, I took an L. I don't know. Whatever.
It was weird. I don't know.
I will say, the fight starts, Class B and Discount Red Riot. What's his name? Tetsu. You can see the twist coming from a mile away that like they're not actually unprepared. But like
I didn't expect that actually. I'll be honest.
Really?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But it did. How it went. The manner in which it went surprised me because he does seem like a bit of a dipshit. So like I did believe that like he was just gonna completely mess everything up, which is how I think we were meant to feel.
Yeah.
So that was funny, and it was also funny mentioning what you said earlier, like about their chemistry for that side of the team.
Oh yeah.
When they actually spoke English with super hard Japanese accents. I almost didn't catch it because I was like so focused on the subtitles.
You see that a lot though, because there's some words that just there isn't a translation and they use the English word.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a good one. I don't know.
Okay, or when I was playing that Yakuza game, that because this is like a 60-hour RPG that I played. Like there was lots of moments like it would be it's funny. Leanna would be sitting on the couch, and like it's obviously in Japanese and subtitles and then there'd just be like a random like same thing like heavy Japanese accent in an English word. She's like, why did they throw that in there?
Yeah.
It's like it's because there isn't a word for it. Like but
I just sidebar, or a slight distraction, but in that same vein, Sam just watched The Levi Beast Titan fight. Dude, I was just sitting there watching her, not even watching the fight. And I was like, you better fucking love this. Like,
this is as good as it gets.
Yeah, but she watched that, and the episode beforehand is called Perfect Game, and that's an example of, like, the Beast Titan has this great, like, thunderous voice, and the voice actor crushes it, and they do something to his voice when his audio is coming out of the Beast, and he's speaking Japanese and out of the middle of nowhere, and he goes perfecto game.
Yeah. It keeps you on your toes when you're watching.
Yeah. So then what happens? Oh, right, we leave the this was an interesting decision.
High-speed chase.
Yeah, there's a high-speed chase. Like, we're not in the tournament or in the class battle, whatever, anymore. It's an actual real-world villain being chased by pro heroes. Endeavor shows up, dusts him.
Yeah, in and out.
Easily.
Problem solved. Yeah.
That's a cool moment with some kids.
Yeah, you can definitely show he's starting to show restraint.
Showing restraint,
yeah.
Trying to make that number one hero spot his own, it seems like. And, yeah, I thought that was, like, a good scene. Yeah. It was interesting interesting that they showed him texting Todoroki.
That was so funny.
Without responses.
I await your reply.
I await your
twice.
Reply. Yeah.
And there's one too I noticed. It goes shit. Anyway, so you can tell, like, he had started to write a text, accidentally hit send on the first word of the sentence.
Oh.
And then,
so
like,
funny.
The next text was, like, the full message he meant to send. I think it's.
That's
I think he goes to
life.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, that's, like, spot on dad text.
That's fucking hilarious. Then he has the exact same flashback that Todoroki has, which is, fine. He's basically he's trying, right? This is a really interesting arc, like, or just decision for the show to make, because every now and again we get heavy, and, like, this is a weird one because, like, so much, like, spousal and child abuse is implied,
and it's kind of just being not swept under the rug, but it's like all you need to do is just, I don't know.
Shoto,
it's weird.
Everyone isn't exactly forgiving him and, like, bringing him in with open arms, but it's also just weird. It's just a weird choice, right? Like, it's almost out of character of the show, and as a result, like, they're not handling it. Or, I mean, maybe this is just how they're deciding to handle it, but it is weird, right? You think it's weird?
I think it's weird. Like, I've read some stuff online. I think the general consensus is, like, this dude was a piece of shit. It seems like a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, accommodating to the situation to progress the story. Like, he did do all this shitty stuff, but it's like, it's not. I understand what they're trying to do. Like, they would have to put, and that's the problem. They should be putting the time in to, like, they should be investing more time in, like, him trying to be better and showing how he is doing better, and, like, coming up with his sins kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of like, not like, it's kind of, actually, it is a little whitewashed of, like, no, like, I am going to be better, and, like, that stuff is in the past.
Yeah.
Like, there's no accountability.
And it's also weird because, like, they do this part of, like the first bits you see of Endeavor are all focused on that, but then they kind of go out of their way to make you like the character. And I mean, like, maybe that's intentional to, like, try and, make him complex and your feelings about him complex. But it doesn't feel like this is that kind of show because he gets so little time, right? It's just weird, but whatever.
I was thinking, not
to
stay on it too long. It's not like Walter White. Like, we had him from the beginning, and we watched him devolve and do these shitty things, and, like, trying to do the right thing, but also doing it wrong. Like, it's not really the same.
Yeah, it's definitely not the same because it's not a 3-dimensional character drama piece, right?
Exactly. But that's the thing. Like, we're kind of just given this information of, yes, he was shitty. So we don't, like, we know some of the details, but we don't have, like, the really big picture. So it's hard to argue the fact that, oh, he is good. Like, maybe, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's so many details left out. It's hard to, like, really make it believable other than the fact of, oh, I guess he's gonna be forgiven.
Yeah,
because that's what it feels like.
It's a
he's just gonna
journey.
Be forgiven.
It seems like that they're on together. Shoto
but without the
and
journey.
Endeavor.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, journey in quotes, because like they've been tugging at the thread of this story for 4
Yeah.
straight seasons, so it sort of feels like they've made progress, even though we haven't, like, we've dived in on it a bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're kicking a dead horse. It's weird. It's kind of underdeveloped, but we'll see how it goes, right? Maybe.
I think it's my least. It's like the thing I care about the least this season because like there's other bigger fish to fry.
So we return to the battle, and Shoto sneezes, and they make a point of being like, "Hey, you're never sick. You okay?" I don't know why that stuck.
Do you know
out
what I
to
thought
me.
that was?
What? Okay, what? I have not.
I thought like when your ears must have been ringing.
Yeah.
That's what I thought that was.
Oh, dude, that would make more sense than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Or your ears are burning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes more sense. I thought, like, what? Like, is someone's quirk going to be to, like, fucking make them sick? Like, give them a head cold or COVID halfway through the fight?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
COVID-19!
Oh, my God.
His quirk is... he looks at you and you become a contagion.
Oh.
I don't know. The announcer is, like, a Japanese guy with, like, a weird Mexican accent. That was my interpretation.
We haven't seen him this season.
Yeah, you hear him when he introduces people and their powers, but yeah, we haven't seen him.
Oh, I like that dude. What is his name? Microphone?
Something like that.
What is his name? I like that dude. That dude is like...
Yeah. Megaphone?
Megaphone?
So anyway, they... Class A jumps in, just both feet in the water. Yep. Shoto ices the whole team.
Yeah.
Looks legit. Lita comes in, but it's an immediate trap. Which, like... You know, I was like, well, something's going to happen, but I did not see it going this way.
I love the musical cues they do. It's kind of almost like a den. I love that.
What's the guy's name? Is it Honanuki? Honanuki,
yeah.
He can turn them to rubber or make them melt or make them...
Mudman.
What is it?
Mudman.
Yeah,
I love that.
So he makes everybody soft.
And you know what's a really cool detail I noticed? There's a scene where I think it's when Tetsu's in the process of like smashing down. Like he's already been doing it for like a few minutes and they're kind of like, oh, what do we do? You'll notice he's the Mudman or Honanuki. He's up a level and you can see he's like fiddling around with stuff and it's him setting the trap. Like it's little shit like this. Like
they do
thank you.
Yeah, they do take a beat or two to be like, oh, this guy like has quick reactions. He's got good reads. They seem to have a plan. So yeah, fine. You know, credit where credit is due.
Is he? And they make a point of like the recommendation. Is that like when a hero is asking for a hero?
Yes.
Or the hero.
Like they give a referral.
Oh yes, gotcha.
So things quickly go to shit for Class 1A. Lita gets sucked into the floor.
Immediately.
Todoroki's like playing defense, but then his other two buddies get engaged real quick.
Yeah.
I forget the name. Discount Red Riot, Tetsu.
Yeah.
Is launched by the girl with horns, and he starts fighting...
Todoroki.
No, he gets a hit in on Todoroki, but he was fighting the other guy.
Oh,
with
Shoji.
the wing. Yeah. And then there's another team member on Class B who has like
the gyrate dude.
Yeah, gyrate. He engages Oji or whatever, Ojiro, whatever.
Ojiro, yeah.
So like everybody's busy.
Yeah.
It's full on conflict at this point, and it's looking bad for Class A. And then
cue flashback.
Cue the flashback. Like it's like okay, the Goku's about to get angry here.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you cue the flashback. Of all the flashbacks, this is a pretty interesting one.
Yeah. It's
because I haven't thought about Lita's quirk in the mechanics of it.
It's like an engine. You got to maintain an engine. When they said it, I was like, "Fucking duh!" Like, awesome.
So he literally pulls the mufflers out of his legs.
Oh my God.
And he grows new ones.
Yeah, that's. I feel like we haven't seen blood
mileage
in a long time.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Yeah.
But the show ends on him, or the episode ends on Lita being like, "That's my secret. I'm always in overdrive." I don't know what he says. But yeah, he's like, I've been revving these mufflers all this whole time, and then he busts out of the rubber ice thing.
Because Mudman makes a reference of like, yeah, you can only like, why'd you use that right off the get go? Like, can't you only do that for 10 minutes?
Oh yeah.
And then I think Lita makes a line of like, well, no, I'm always on, but my new style that's only for 10 minutes, and like that's on now, which I thought was. Oh, it's so good. Like, Ida, I know he's one of the main dudes. I almost wish he had his own show.
Yeah, he's really good. They handle his comedy very well. They never, it's never too much, though it could be if they didn't handle it so well.
Mm-hmm.
But they handle his character really well. And, like, also, like, the drama with the brother and, being serious when he has to be. He's another one of those characters that we talked about earlier, like Red Riot. He can kind of fill whatever role you need him to a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Being badass, being funny.
Yeah.
Being, just an exposition
just a well-rounded character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That pretty much does it for this episode.
Yeah.
As usual, we did not watch the Stinger /preview, I assume.
No, I'm out on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should have mentioned as well, obviously, if it wasn't clear throughout this whole podcast, we're anime onlys, right? We've never seen any of the mangas.
I did it again.
Oh, no. I think it's clear to, like, everybody, at that point, like, we don't know what's coming. So, yeah, that's worth noting. If this is your first time listening, first of all, thank you. We do this podcast for My Hero Academia same time every week. Usually comes out on Wednesdays, and many of you, it looks like, have been listening to the post show.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's the same people, perhaps not, but either way, thank you for listening. We're definitely going to keep doing this.
Yes, thank you very much.
The post show is super fun. I don't know if you guys have heard it yet, but if not, take a listen. It usually drops a couple days after these episodes. It's anime related, but also just entertainment related. For example, like this week, we've talked a lot about Invincible, the MCU, Jujutsu Kaisen, which we're both getting into now, Yasuke, to Eternity. Lots of cool, just generally speaking, like anime and entertainment related news. You can catch that kind of stuff there and more. Other than that, I think that's probably it for this week.
I think so.
Cool. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, follow, do whatever you like, but we enjoy it. We enjoy you listening.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.